So what we're talking about now is a thing called an in-play shot. So this is something that most golfers probably aren't fully aware of. Those that start breaking 90, 80, things have been playing for a while, they've probably got this type of shot, but from what I've seen from you guys, we definitely need to get very clear on what is the shot that you absolutely know you can hit, say at least about 100 to 150 meters. I'm going to start with 100 and then we'll work our way up to 150 meters. You have to at least be able to hit it that far in the air, and you've got to hit it between a 40 meter wide target out there. Because as I mentioned to a few of you, you don't have to hit fairways to score well in golf. All you need to be able to do is find it and have some kind of shot that you can progress it towards your target, towards the green, down the fairway further. So that could be off pine straw, it could be off rough, it could be even in some really easy fairway bumpers. As long as you can hit it and get it going and you found it and you're not having a penalty shot, that's all you really need to do. You don't have to hit fairways. Obviously fairways gets easier for spin and control and stuff, but you don't have to do it. You're going to drop some pressure off. What we're trying to do is keep it in between tree lines, in between the water hazard on the right, the out of bounds on the left. Just need to get it in that target. Now, most golf courses, you'll have something like between 40 to 60 yards to play with between the real penalties. Now, there's other holes, there's a 6th hole out here where you've got about 35 metres between the left and the right water hazard for hitting second shots, third shots down that hole. So that's what I would call a hairpin on a racetrack. We were talking about it yesterday. On a racetrack, if you're going foot to the floor 6th gear and trying to go around a hairpin, there's going to be nothing but crashes. No driver in the world is going to be able to do that and get around and come back the other way. What do? They drop back down the gears to the one that will easily get them around the corner, probably 1st gear, right, around a real sharp hairpin. They avoid the crash, and then they move on after that, punch back up through the gears so they don't get lapped, right? But most golfers, and that's what I'm going to show you guys, they don't know what 1st gear is. They don't have that club where all the pressure's on, all the penalties are around. They don't know what club and what shot to hit to actually just get to progress it, get past the hairpin, get past the crash, and then get on with the rest of the round after that. So what we've got to do, we've got to discover that. How are we going to do it? Well, you look down the fairway and you pick a couple of targets that might be about 40 yards wide. So I'm going to show you here that the red, the pinky and blue target on the right and the one on the left are probably about that. As we think of the inside edges of those two, that's what we're trying to hit between, right? So instead of coming here and just hitting 7-irons and drivers to a target, to a flag, not really caring where they go if they hit a wide one, what you need to do is play something that's a little bit more like golf, where you've got 40 yards to play with. It doesn't really matter in between those two where it finishes, but you absolutely need to get it in there. And it doesn't matter if it's bang on right at your target or not. So we've got to flip your kind of thinking a little bit around to go, I'm trying to hit 10 balls in between those two targets there. And if I go right, I'm in a water hazard. If I go left, I'm in a out of bounds, right? So in scoring, trying to break 100, trying to break 90, we're trying to get rid of penalty shots. This shot is crucial. This might be on the first tee when you're nervous as because you're not sure about what's going on. Everyone looking in the clubhouse laughing at you, all that kind of stuff that's only in your own head anyway. But, you know, when you're feeling really nervous about the water hazard, when you're standing there on the last hole and you know if you can kind of make a bogey, you're going to shoot your best score ever and break 90 for the first time, wherever it is. When you're feeling that tension and really tight, you want to just have that shot that you've just done so many times you can fall backwards. Right? So what might it be? It might be as simple as grabbing your 7-iron out. Okay? And that might be your most confident club. That's fine. We're going to start. We've got to discover what is your club that you know you can do it like at least 8, 9 times out of 10 when we're getting the target.
Distance-wise, we want to finish about where they are as well?
No, we just need to get it past 100 metres. So if you hit it 190, great. If you hit it 101, great. They still count. You're on the fairway, right? So tee shots, the biggest thing with tee shots is not distance, right? Distance is a massive help, yes, as long as you find the thing, right? Yeah. I can hit it 300 metres straight right into the bushes, never see it again. I'm back at the tee getting my 3rd shot. Now, if you can hit 300 metres, keep it in the fairway, you're way ahead of the game. So what we're trying to do is just go a minimum of 100 metres. You know, we get over, a lot of tees you have to carry rough and stuff before you get to the fairway. You just need to progress it down a hole at least 100. If you can get it out to 150 or even 200, great. But we minimum 1st gear at least 100 metres, right? So the big thing here is it's about accuracy. This is not about distance. So what we've got to do is we've got to try and get the direction right. So the biggest thing that influences direction is where that club face is pointing at the moment of impact. Right? The ball does not care, doesn't give a shit about you and your emotions and what you've been doing and what you should do and what you saw on TV and all that stuff. The ball only cares about what that club face did to it at impact, right? And the biggest thing that influences the direction it goes in is where was that club face pointing at the moment of impact. So anywhere between like 75%, 95% of where a ball goes is where it was pointing at impact. So if your ball's going way right, the club face is out there. It's going way left, the club face is over that way, right? The other thing that does it, the thing that puts the curve on it, is the path that it's traveling on. The main thing I want you to focus on is club face angle at impact, right? So if you hit a shot and the ball goes right, well, the ball's telling me that club face must have been out there despite whatever you were trying to do. It's not lying. That's what happened. And what you've got to do is you go, what's the alternative? What's the opposite of that? The blind man's got to hit both sides of the hallway before he knows where he needs to go. So if you're constantly hitting it right, you've got to turn the club face over so you can hit it left, and then you can pin somewhere in there. So when we're doing this exercise, I'm going to start off with maybe about 10 balls, just experimenting with club face angle. Try and hit them right, try and hit them left, then trying to hit them somewhere in the middle of that. And then the next thing we're going to do is get 10 balls out, try and get them in the fairway, that 40-yard wide fairway. So this can be an in-play shot. The other thing is you have to aim the gun before you fire at the gun. That's not working, right? We've got to line up first. So a huge thing is getting this club face pointing where you want it to go on the first drive. So standing back behind the ball, looking at a little intermediate target, an intermediate target like a piece of leaf or a divot or something on the course, lining the club face up at that first where it's really close and you can get that perpendicular to the grooves, makes it a hell of a lot easier for you to then set up in the same way. And when you look up, you actually know where you're aiming, right? So that's a really important first step. And then the final thing is to basically understand what your tendencies are, okay? This is not about you correcting a slice at the moment. If you slice it, do not ever aim at the middle of the fairway if you're trying to get it to finish inside your 40-yard wide target. Jack Nicklaus didn't do that. Tiger doesn't do that. None of these guys do that. They all have a tendency. It either goes slicing or it goes drawing, and if they overcook it, it goes further one way or the other. So for me, for instance, if I'm trying to hit into that target area that we're talking about here, I'm aiming at a light pole out in the distance there that's probably 5 meters in from the left side. Why am I doing that? Because I've done a lot of shots and I know that probably 90% of my shots either go fairly straight or to the right, maybe 10% go left. And I'm going to back myself in 9 out of 10 times rather than the one. If I happen to have one of those days, it's going to be a bad day. So what? Let's go. Move on. I want to be the casino owner and not the punter. And the amount of people that say to me, oh yeah, I aim left and then I hit it dead straight. What, 1 out of 10 out of 100? And you're going to back yourself in on trying to hit it straight when 9 of them go right? That's not scoring golf. That's just ego golf. It's just, oh, I should have put it. I should be able to hit straight. And, come on, let's just play the game. Then come and actually practice to try and get the thing straighter as you're going along. But not out in the golf course. This is not about that. If you know your ball goes right most of the time, then aim left. So I'm going to aim over there, pick out my little intermediate target. And I know that if I stay nice and balanced and just swing fairly easy, I'm probably going to hit half decent contact, and I've got a much better idea of where the club face will be at impact. So I'm going to do that, stand there and go, wait. And you guys can see it's probably going to land about 15 metres right where I was aiming. Right, I was aiming at that light pole. Is it in my fairway? Easily. It landed like right in the middle of the fairway. And at no point do you need to tell anyone where you were actually aiming. Just let them clap that you just hit it in the fairway. Hey, great shot, well done. It's just, that's what you don't hear on the commentary, on the TV. You don't know what the player was trying to do. And the vast majority of the time, their ball ends up where they want it because they planned really well like that, allowing for their tendencies, not trying to hit perfectly straight shots. So that's what we're trying to discover here. We're going to experiment. Whatever club you think will at least go 100 metres, right? You can go further than that, that's okay. But you've got to back yourself in here. Which one am I going to hit in between that target at least 8 out of 10 times? So you're going to spend like 10 balls experimenting, get the club face left, right, muck around with that. Whatever club it is you choose. It could be a 5-iron, could be a hybrid. If you're confident enough with the 3-wood in your driver, because maybe you don't hit it that far anyway, go for your life. That's all good. But we definitely want to know what is the full back first gear in play shot.